up guys, Eddie6771 here, and welcome back to this video on Minecraft. Now in this video you can see I've got an old friend, Mr. Green.
Hello?
And what we're going to do is we're going to show you 10 ways on how to prank a player in Minecraft. Now all these ways mentioned don't truly involve death, they're more harmless ways. One or two of them involve slight bit of destruction, but nothing that would really take a player too far. So anyway, let's get right into it. Number 1. The fake TNT Nuke. Okay, for this prank, you need to set up like a house in the middle of nowhere, and then what you gotta do is come down here, and I'll just show you a quick look at the circuit you need to build. You need to build an observer that is connected to the door, with the redstone signal facing into this piston, and then that needs to go into a block which controls this timer, and then at least 2 blocks off on the timer you need this dispenser. And then down here, what you need is a bucket of water right in front of the dispenser. So when you end up going through the door, it will dispense a couple of TNT. But since it's in water, it won't do any damage. So you get the fun of making people think you've set off some TNT, when in reality you haven't. And if you want it to be a bit more practical, you can actually change this for a normal piston, but then put a finite amount, say about 20 should do, and then like once you come in through the door, there's nothing you can do to stop it immediately, and it's even better. Alright, so here we have this random house, totally nothing really suspicious, and Mr. Green is coming to approach it, and here he opens the door, and then, oh dear, he's just figured out it's a trap, and then this happens. But you might notice the house doesn't take any damage, and it shouldn't really do anything really harsh, so it's only really meant to scare him. So, there, successful prank. Number 2. Nether signs. Now for this next prank, this one's best suited for those that are more on the gullible side. So what I've done is I placed a trail of signs, and the trail of signs ends up leading over this way until you end up here. Then the signs go that way, then it goes through a bunch of nether terrain, but then the signs will end up looping back here until it gets back here. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna make the players like want those free dimes, but then when they get around here they're like, wait, I've been here before. If they're uncoordinated enough, they might loop it once or twice before they realize what they've done. So that could be good for some laughs. So there's a sign here that says 3 diamonds. And here comes Mr. Green, he's gonna read it, and he's like, yay, he finds diamonds. So now he's gonna end up following it, and he'll end up figuring out what the 3 diamonds actually means. Now here we approach a bottleneck in the junction, and he's gonna head left, and where the sign says, but eventually something weird is gonna happen. Okay, now you can see that Mr. Green has come around, and he's come right back to where the bottleneck is, and within a few seconds he's gonna kind of realize he was tricked. He made a loop around a huge portion of nether just to come and realize it was all just a prank. Number 3. Chicken spawner in the sky. Now for this prank, what you need to do is you need to build off a pillar very high in the sky, preferably somewhat closer to the build limit. So once you get up here, you can like make a very good idea for a prank. So what you gotta do is you need to place a dispenser that is facing downwards, and then on that dispenser, what you're gonna need to do is place a comparator to the side. That's got to be redirected into a block, and then over here you can place a piece of redstone with a block above it, then place a redstone here and a block above the comparator. Then off to this side, what you want to do is you need to place a block here, place a repeater here, to a piece of redstone that goes back into here, And just check that this works. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, now that you have the dispenser firing circuit on, what you need to do is to place a hopper facing into the dispenser. Then you gotta place a block on top of that. Then you need to surround said block with some more blocks. And in here, this is gonna be where the chickens sit. So now what you gotta do is spawn 24 chickens here. And this will be what causes everything to work well. It will spawn just enough eggs that it would start off small and you wait for it to build up, but it'll be a little enough that it doesn't get too noticeable. But once it happens, it's really happening. And the catch is, how long would it take before the player down there realizes that there's an entire machine spawning chickens above their base in the sky? This quick time-lapse is here to show you that it will build up chickens very slowly over time. Alright, so, as you can see, a bunch of chickens have spawned since I built the machine, and now that Mr. Greens comes, he kind of notices there are chickens, and you're just noticing egg there, and he's not really happy what's happened to his house, is he? And any time you might realize what has been built in the sky, to make him realize that he was pranked this whole time, and it took him this long to figure it out. Number 4. Aging a build. Now, if you have one of those players that have built their builds out of one of the stone types, such as tiled deep slate or stone bricks or anything along that line, you can actually make it a funny joke by you making their base age secretly. So, if you can get some of the mossy variant of whatever they have, and you can slowly replace all their blocks, it can lead to an effect which the player would not really be expecting to happen. So you start out small, and then slowly but surely you can build it elsewhere, and if your friend doesn't come on into a while, it can get funny the more it ages, and you can just slowly spread it out every time you come until it consumes the entire house, and then they'll have no idea what's happening, and it might take them a while to realize what you have done, and then, yeah, so it's just a matter of when to do it and how to do it. You gotta be careful when you replace stuff that have other blocks on it, so you gotta make sure you replace the stuff, otherwise, it could look a bit weird. And why not do it also to stairs, such as this? Alright, so you can see that I've replaced quite a few blocks, and now Mr. Green has come and he's realized that his house has aged, and he has no idea how. And then, if he asks something like, how did this happen? You can, say, new game mechanic, cobblestone ages. Number 5. Lava trick. Now for this one, you can build up a very makeshift room to set your prank up. Maybe a tiny little area just lit up with maybe a chest or two. And then you can use this to your advantage to lull them into a false sense of security. And then what you want to do is, build some sort of piston thing to drop you. But then down here, what you're gonna need to do is get a bunch of lava, some water, and some signs. Once you have your materials, what you need to do is place a bunch of signs without really writing anything on it. Then dig down about 3 blocks from the signs. And then here you want to place a bunch of water. Now, on here, you just need to place a few buckets of lava. So what's going to happen is, if the player falls through, they might think they're dead, but then they'll end up in the water, and nothing really bad will happen. And then you can, have an exit to make them get out, or you can just leave them here, and they'll have to think of a way out themselves. Okay, so, here I have in this thing, I'm going to send a little message to Mr. Green. And in any few seconds, you make a reply, and then he'll head over this way. Okay, so I can expect him here any minute now. Just gotta wait. And he's gonna come in, and he just fell into what he thought was lava. So now he's just wondered how on earth did he get down here, and then looks like I forgot to make the secret exit. Number 6. The bed trap. Now this prank is pretty simple. All you gotta do is dig a little bit down here, and you gotta get to this block. Now right here you have to destroy it, and then right click the observer. And then you just gotta place a piston here, then cover up the hole with, not with pistons, and that's everything set up. So what it's gonna do is, if you try to come sleep in this bed, it's gonna try to destroy it, and then the player will not know what hit him. Okay, so you can see it's night time, and now Mr. Green knows that it's time to go to bed. But he just fell for a very conveniently placed piston. And now he's gonna realize he's been pranked again. Number 7. The fake TNT Minecart Trap. Now you gotta take a huge amount of care when you build this one. Okay, so for this build, you need to either decide whether you want it under the house or under the area they are. This may give them a slight bit of damage, but the thing that makes this different from the one with the timer is that this one is instantaneous. So what it... oh, that's kind of cool. So what this means, it's good for a jump scare. But placing observer facing downwards, it will have to face into a block of some sort, or a piece of redstone here. Then that can face into another block with a rail on top of it. Now what you need to do is build a pool underneath the area, like this. And it actually might be easier to do it here. So I'll just change it to be like here. But what you want to do is place a track right here, facing into this block. And then what you want to do is place a bit of water. Now, you need to fill this up. Well, the chasm was, like, not really intentional. But once you have it like this, you can open the door to make sure the track turns on. And yes, the track is turning on. So what this means is it's time for phase B. Now you just need to place a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of minecarts with TNT. I recommend around 9 to 16. Many more than that and you're overdoing it. But you know it's done when you actually see the minecarts placed. But, well, it's easy in survival mode to know. But once you have a good amount done, you can then cover this back up. And then leave it for your players to come in. And when they open this door, no damage is done. They may take a few hearts of damage, but other than that, nothing really serious. And you can even come back and reset it if you really want to, so it's a pretty cool trap. But you may actually notice this is based off of Green's third life trick, except it's been disarmed, so it's not really deadly. Okay, so Mr. Green is approaching to his new house, and as he walks through the door, you see that he just fell for the old TNT jump scare. Number 8. The cursive binding trap. Now, to build this cursed circuit, what you need to do is you need to come in and start building below the base. Now, what you need to do is you need to get an observer, and you need to place blocks here and here, then place a normal piston with a redstone block. The redstone block needs to power this piece of redstone. This is going to trigger a comparator timer, and then the circuit will be routed out of here, and then routed into this block. Now above this block you need to place a dispenser, and in that dispenser you need to place at least one carved pumpkin. And then when you cover this, and then you need to, I forgot this, you need to place the door. And then, once the door's in, you can place the piece of redstone. Then you can cover this whole circuit up. And there shouldn't be any trouble. And if I come out and walk through, I should end up with a cursive binding. Yep. Now the problem is the circuit is a once work only due to the fact that it's hard to do some very certain stuff with redstone, such as powering upwards without the use of torches, and torches don't work well on a timer. Alright, so as you can see, Mr. Green is going to come into his old house now, and when he enters in, he's just falling for the old cursor binding head trick. Now, this doesn't have to be a pumpkin, it can be a dragon head or gold armor or anything. All that matters is that it has cursor binding. Number 9. Tick-tock. Now for this prank, what you need to do is come down and make a space underneath your base, because no blocks need at least 2 blocks of space to work properly. So what you need to do is you need some redstone and repeaters. And you need to place 2 repeaters going this way, 2 repeaters going this way. 1 repeater has to be on 4 ticks. Then you need redstone that connects both lines. Then you need to clear out some blocks over here. And you need to place some redstone here. And then you need some glass right next to the redstone. Here and here. Then you need a note block. And the first note block needs to be clicked to around about here. And then the other one, just once. And then what you gotta do is come here, turn on the thing off, and there, you have a tick-tock. Time is a tool that you mount on the wall. And it will just drive the other player crazy until you can find it. Alright, so you can see I've set up my tick-tock here, and as Mr. Green comes in, he's like, where's this coming from? And he'll probably try destroying blocks to find it, and if it doesn't, it will drive him crazy. And if just watching him react is priceless. And finally, last but not least, the decoy. Okay, now to build this prank, you need to place an observer here that connects to a sticky piston, and then you can place some blocks here. Then you need to place a sticky piston facing this direction, and then you can place an observer that faces up into here, and then you can place a slime block here, another slime block here, and a piston here, a piston here, which directs into another slime block with about 11 blocks of TNT over it. Not there though. And then once this is done, this should be golden and you can send it off. Alright, so now if I activate this device, and it's going to be sent off to Mr. Green's house, where he'll be sitting unawares until he gets to the point where he realizes, oh no, doom cometh. And he's going to frantically try to get away, only for it all to just be a dud. Perfect prank. And he'll come back and realize that it was all just a trick. Okay, this is going to be the end of this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more from me, and want to support my channel, you can subscribe. And also check out Mr. Green's channel and maybe subscribe if you enjoy his content. Anyway, did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video I make. This is Eddie67716 and Mr. Green, and here we say goodbye.